Today we're going to talk about how to make a contact print in the darkroom. So there are a few things you need. The first thing you need is to be in the darkroom. That's where I am right now. The second thing you need is your sheet of negatives. Now most likely your sheet of negatives probably has less, it's not all the way full, it probably only has 3 or 4 rows. The last thing you need is your contact printer. It's called a contact printer because we use it to make our contact sheets. Your contact printer we use to make our pinhole positives. It is this piece right here with the glass. The glass is really important because the glass puts weight onto our negatives to make sure that they lay flat. If our negatives aren't flat on our paper, our contact sheets will be blurry and it'll be hard to distinguish which photographs are going to be the really high quality photographs we want to use. Okay, to get started, the first thing you're going to do is that you're going to set up your enlarger for the printing. Now typically all these lights will be off, you'll only have the red lights on when you're doing this. The first thing you do is you set your timer to focus and on. Alright, to turn my light on, remember I use my timer. I'm going to turn it to focus and on. Oops, sorry, there's on. Now I can see that because when I turn the red lights off in here, you will see your light come on, okay? I know it's hard to actually see the settings on your timer, but you'll know that you're on focus and on if your timer's not moving and your light is on, okay? If I turn it off, my light goes off, focus, and on is like this. Now, I'm going to make sure that my contact printer is in the middle of my light and that my light is large enough that it covers my whole contact printer. So remember, you have to probably put your light all the way up if you need to do that. I'm also going to make sure that my aperture is open all the way. Make sure my aperture is open all the way. I turn my lens right here until my light gets as bright as it can go. See how it gets brighter and darker? Alright, once it's as bright as it can go, I'm going to close it 2 or 3 clicks. Alright, so I'm all set to go. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to do my actual contact print. So I'm going to set my timer to time and off. What you're going to do now is with all your lights off on your enlarger, you're going to set up your contact print just like you did your pinhole. Before we do our print, we actually have to do what we call a test strip. The test strips are about this big. They're pieces of photo paper. They're in protective boxes underneath the enlargers. There are 4 that are scattered throughout the room. This is our photo paper. It's just a piece of cut photo paper, so it has a shiny side and a dull side. This goes under here, shiny side up, and then I'm actually going to put it this way. And then I'm going to put my negatives over it. You can see how it's poking out through there. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to set my timer to 3 seconds and turn it to time and off, which it's already set to. I'm going to expose it for 3 seconds and then I'm going to cover up a little bit and expose it for 3 seconds again. I'm going to expose it for 3 seconds, the whole thing. Then I'm going to cover up a sliver of it and set my timer to 3 seconds again, and then do the same thing again. So I'm going to turn my timer to on. It's going to stay on for 3 seconds. I'm going to turn it back to off and lay down my white sheet of paper, or my white piece of cardboard. It's blocking out the light. I'm going to set it to 3 seconds again, and you'll see me turn it on. And see how I'm covering up just a part of it right here? It went up. I'm going to cover up a little bit more, turn it to off, 3 seconds, and turn it on again. Alright, there we go. So I've exposed it 3 times, and now I'm going to go and develop it. Alright, so now I have my test strip right here. Once you're done in the fixer, you can go look at it in actual daylight. I would highly recommend looking at it in daylight and not in the darkroom. Don't make any judgments in the darkroom. Now it's really hard to see on here, but I actually have lines going across where it gets lighter darker, and then darker. So on my test strip, the way I would read this is that this is what 3 seconds would look like if I did it. This is what 6 seconds would look like. And down here, this is what 9 seconds would look like. I think you can see it best in this picture right here. You can kind of see the line. It's hard for my iPad to focus here. But you can kind of see how it gets darker as it goes down. On yours, you'll probably see a much more distinct line than what I have here. After I've looked at this, I think I'm going to do my actual test strip for 9 seconds. I want to do it, or I'm sorry, my actual contact print for 9 seconds. I want to make sure I do it for enough time that my blacks actually look black, but I don't want to do it for so much time that I completely lose my whites. Your goal is always to have at least something that is pure white in your picture and something that is a rich, dark black. If everything is black and there's no white, then it just feels like everything has been underexposed. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to come over here to do that. And once my lights are all turned off, I'm actually going to take my photo paper, shiny, a whole piece, shiny side up. I'm going to put it under my negatives, and I've decided on 9 seconds. So I'm putting my photo paper under there, shiny side up. That's very important. I'm going to set my timer to time and off and turn it to 9 seconds. Now I'm all set to go. I'm just going to go ahead and expose this and then put it through the developing process. Here you can see my contact sheet. Turn this water out so you can see it better. This is what your contact sheet will end up looking like. And I got this from I started out with my test strip. You need to do a test strip to make sure that you have the right time. If I did the wrong time on here, it would either be way too light or way too dark. But by doing the test strip, I have the perfect contrast contact print here. And from here, I can look at my photos and decide which ones I'm going to enlarge based on which ones I think make the best composition, which ones seem the most in focus, and so on and so forth. You have to do a contact sheet for every image, every roll of film, For every roll of film that you shoot, you will always start with a contact sheet.